Hey everybody, welcome to some more early morning barking. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel and do all the little socially things that are scrolling past us right now. So this is take 2 of my NPD and denial video. It starts off fairly easy, and then as I started talking about it, I realized the massive connotations it's had in my own life and how horrible it's been and the trouble it caused, and I sort of stopped after a few minutes. So I'll deal with the easy stuff about the denial first, and we'll go from there, okay? So the denial isn't a marker of NPD as such, but it is the result of a lot of the markers, and it can be extremely damaging. When you believe you're as good and as perfect and as wonderful and superior as somebody with NPD does, it's very difficult to accept fault for anything. It's impossible to accept fault for anything. It's impossible to accept that anything is wrong. And so you deny it. And that stops you ever getting help or becoming any better. You know, we talk about that old cliche of the first step is admitting that you've got a problem. It really is. And with NPD, that in itself is a serious problem because we're awesome, right? There's nothing wrong here. This is human being working in its premium best form. This is just amazing awesomeness. How can anyone suggest the ludicrous idea that there might be something wrong with me? And how, of all people, how dare you suggest that to me? That I'm not perfect? Shut up. You see where this goes? You don't need help, right? You're perfect the way you are. I'm afraid not. You've got NPD, so you need treatment for that. You need therapy or whatever is best for you. For me, it was therapy. And you've got to accept that you aren't perfect, that you're not supposed to treat people the way you do, and that there is a problem. But you're in denial. The way of dealing with it is like dealing with all kinds of things, I think. You've just got to have it hammered home that there's a problem here. And how easy that is to do. For me, it was actually fairly easy because I had all the BPD stuff going along with it. And that's impossible to mistake as a problem, right? There's really, it's clear there's a problem there. So figuring out that there are other problems, that I'm not supposed to treat people the way I do, I'm not supposed to talk to people the way I do, etc. That came fairly easily for me. And so getting help, it piggybacked on the BPD. That was a blessing of having two, really. Once you've got one, you can get the other. In terms of catching it, sorry. No, I mean like knowing you've got it, catching it. You don't catch a personality disorder. Let's be very clear. If you're trying to deal with somebody who you think has NPD and not a problem, I don't know how you get through to them. Because, right, this is where we'll move on to the harder stuff. So, without going into too many details, the other side of denial is apart from the overarching denial that you've got any form of problem. There's also the denial that smaller problems might also be caused by you. right? For me, life was about, there were big problems and there were smaller underlying problems. And I was in denial of all of them. And I was especially in denial of things that were genuinely my fault. And I was in a vicious cycle of believing that all of my problems were somebody else's fault, not my own, getting angry at this person or whoever, and then getting upset at them for that, and so on, and just building up and building up. And what it took for me to see all the problems I was causing, it took total collapse of my life. Which is not an encouraging thing to tell you in any way. It took losing everything, absolutely everything, before I could get enough perspective to look at things and go, hang on, that was my fault. I did that because I was being horrible. So that was my fault. And then it all hits you that you didn't lose everything as such. You destroyed it because of the way you were. That's a hard thing to take. It's a big pill to swallow, that you caused all the problems in your own life. And I don't know how you do that when you're in the thick of it. I really don't. I wish I had some sort of good advice or something, but I had to lose everything. I really wish it had been different. I can't tell you how much I wish it had been different, but I had to lose everything to see what I'd done. I'm not advocating that you just walk out on everything in your life or anything like that. I don't know if I could say this was one thing that I dealt with that could have been dealt with in a different way. I honestly don't know, because I don't know what would have gotten through to me. Even when I was getting help and going to therapy, because you're not in couples therapy or in therapy with whoever else you might have upset apart from your significant other. You're in there on your own. And so anyone that is in there with you, if you're in a group or just your therapist, whoever, is only getting your side of things. And they can question you and challenge you and cause you to think about stuff. But ultimately, even while you're being challenged in that way, their ability to get you to reverse your thinking is very small. It's very difficult, and they don't necessarily even know that you're wrong, because they've not seen how you've behaved. They've only got your description of it. And even though you're aware you've got a problem, you're just not aware of all the individual little problems you've caused. I hope this is making sense. So yeah, it's very difficult, and I don't know how you get that perspective and break through this shield of denial that we put up. And it's a shield because in my case, all this narcissism is very vulnerable. You know, it's all based on bullshit. It's all based on making up for the fears that the BPD gives me. So if it can be challenged and gotten to, but it's been a sealed tight thing. And it's not until cracks start to appear that you can work your way in and eventually get through to realizing what you've done. This one hurts a lot. And yeah, it's still difficult to talk about. I mean, my own life feels totally up in the air. And I don't know where or how or when it's going to land or in what way. And I don't know what I want from everything. The challenges of BPD, and I just try to sort of minimize the potential harm that I can do to others emotionally until I know that I'm not doing it. The denial seems to be very much gone now for me. I can accept that I've caused problems. I can accept that I have a problem. But it took a lot of time. A lot of time. And it will probably continue to roll, I would imagine. There will be further things that I'll discover that I'll figure out perhaps were my fault. But do you know, as I continue to talk, I realize there are so many more facets to this, and how denying things and this sort of removal from reality that we do, how it colors absolutely everything. I'm gonna have to come back to like positive denial and the things we just hide to allow ourselves to continue to feel angry, and we know we're doing it, but you just deny these things. You see, this is definitely a two-parter. So I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to ramble on too long, and I'm aware I'm a little bit wishy-washy as it is. So I'll come back another time with one of these. Obviously, yeah, it's a bit difficult, and I think I'm over the hardest bit to talk about. So the next time should be a bit easier, and I'll be a bit more clear. It's always difficult when you try and do these more than once because you don't know quite what you've covered, and it prolongs the emotional turmoil. You get it. Anyway, you take care. I'll see you later. Bye.